Hello and welcome to the World War One study guide. So remember, this test is not over all of chapter 12 or topic 12. It's over topic like 12.4 to 12.7, specifically talking about World War One, the part that we've been talking about while you guys have been away. And I hope you have learned a lot about what caused this first war. On your own time, if you want to, you can watch Wonder Woman, which also takes place during World War One. You get a good example of trench warfare, although that didn't actually happen. How great would it have been if it did? Okay, so I don't know if this is going to have to be one video or two videos, but what I'm going to kind of do is go through each topic, and the book doesn't offer a study guide, but what I'm going to do is work through each objective. And so at topic 12.4, a European war, there's three objectives, and that's identify the causes of World War One, describe how war was fought in the trenches, and explain how Germany's use of submarine warfare affected American neutrality. And so I'm going to go through each one of those for each of the topics, starting with topic 12.4. So let's get it poppin'. So the first objective is identify the causes of World War One. Well, I know the original powder keg was that guy getting assassinated, but there are three main causes of World War One that is being built up before World War One actually happens. So the first one is nationalism. Nationalism is pride in one's nation. Europe in particular showed a lot of nationalism. France and Germany had beef because there was the Franco-German War that happened before World War One, and France lost that war and had to give Germany Alsace-Lorraine. Now, I probably said that wrong. An iron-rich territory, and that was a huge blow to France's national pride. And so they probably weren't the biggest fans of Germany for a while, and that was probably one of the reasons when the Treaty of Versailles was signed to end World War One. France is like, give us that land back, Germany, even though that wasn't land that they lost during the war. France is like, that's our land, give it back. You took it earlier, we want it back. And so remember, France got that Alsace-Lorraine territory back at the Treaty of Versailles. Germany had to give it back. In Eastern Europe, nationalism between Austria-Hungary and Russia and Serbia as well did not go along well with one another. Russia was trying to start revolutions in Austria-Hungary against their rulers, but silly them, only America does that, like with Panama. No. The other one was militarism. Militarism. I mean, your book also mentions imperialism as well. Those that were searching to colonize a lot of areas, colonize a lot of territories, not just in Europe with other countries. We had kind of said you can't go over to our side anymore in the Monroe Doctrine to Europe, but they were colonizing Asia and Africa during this time as well. A lot of Africa actually was being colonized. And that's imperialism. So militarism is another source of tension. Militarism is the policy of building up strong armed forces to prepare for war. It's kind of like, you don't want to mess with me, look at how tough I am kind of thing. So European nations expanded their armies, expanded their navies. Germany built up its navy, then Britain's like, oh, we see you, Germany, we're going to add up our navy too. And they're not going to get along. Because they're building up each other's weapons. In the meantime, I mean, by building up each other's weapons, they're basically ready to go fight one another. The last cause of World War One is the alliance system. So the alliance system was where you make a friend, and that friend defends you no matter what. And this is one of the things that caused the domino effect in World War One was this alliance system. That is a system where I've got your back. If you have a problem with this one country, I fully support you. I will fight that other country with you, and we will take them down. France was linked with Russia and Britain in the Triple Entente. Germany was in the Triple Alliance with Austria-Hungary and Italy as well. Well, So, four causes of World War I: nationalism, imperialism, which is not listed, militarism, and an alliance system. And then we have the spark that blew up all of the gunpowder that people had just been building up in their area. And that's June 28th, 1914. June 28th, 1914. I know this is an objective statement around it, but just as a reminder, Archduke Francis Ferdinand, heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, that's part of the Triple Alliance, was visiting Sarajevo, in the capital of Bosnia. Bosnia was ruled by Austria-Hungary. But Serbia, who Russia had kind of tried to like build up beef with them, Serbia has problems with Austria-Hungary. Serbian terrorist group assassinated Gavril Princip is the person, assassinated the Archduke and his wife. So the person that was going to be in charge of Austria-Hungary one day is killed. This makes Austria-Hungary really angry at Serbia. Austria-Hungary threatens war. Russia's like, no, Serbia's my friend. If you're going to go to war against Serbia, you're going to go to war against me. July 28th, 1 month after Franz Ferdinand is shot, Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Russia immediately sends its forces together to defend Serbia as well. Meanwhile, Austria-Hungary's ally, Germany, is like, oh, you're going to war with this country? We've got an alliance. I will stand with you. So Germany says, Russia, cancel. And then Germany's like, well, I'm declaring war on Russia now, even though this really didn't have anything to do with Russia and Germany. Then, less than a month later, like a week later, Germany declares war on France. Because, France and Germany, neighbors, never getting along. And so the German armies are going through Belgium on their way to France. Britain declared war on Germany because of that triple entente alliance with Germany and Russia. Russia and France. Britain declares war on Germany. Austria-Hungary declares war on Russia. And so basically, based off of what happened in Sarajevo, ping pong, everyone declared war on each other. And we now have several huge countries at war with one another. It's a really big problem. But yeah, eventually that caused World War I. It was a hot mess. People just not getting along. How war was fought in the trenches. Okay, so trench warfare is something that you really can see in Wonder Woman. With trench warfare, we have the Central Powers and the Allied powers both taking advantage of trench warfare. And there's there's a map on page 668 of the trenches, and it was basically this like long, complex ditches they would dig in the ground where the soldiers would live, and they would shoot heavy artillery down on the enemy side of the trenches, rain stuff down, and then eventually a general would be like, all right, soldiers, go. And the soldiers would climb out of the trenches and run to the enemy's trench through no man's land, where most of them just got shot because you have no place to cover in no man's land. People also used gas to send gas to swarm into these trenches to choke and blind the soldiers, which was an awful way to die. Overall, trench warfare caused lots of death and not a lot of progress. Not a lot of progress. Offenses, your book said, was long and deadly. So it's one of the reasons why we don't really use trench warfare today. All right. Finally, we are at the third objective for 12.4. Explain how Germany's use of submarine warfare affected American neutrality. So the U.S. said, I am not in this war, so therefore I have the right to trade with anybody on either side of this conflict. So they're sending trade ships. Well, Great Britain says, no one's going to leave Germany, no one's going to enter Germany, we're going to surround Germany. And so they blocked Germany's ports in the beginning. But then Germany invented these U-boats, which are submarines, which is a new thing to the battlefield. So these U-boats were set up as a blockade around Great Britain. And if anyone entered into their blockade, the U-boats would attack them, which means a lot of merchant ships, a lot of trade ships got attacked and sank, and citizens died. And this violated international law. Like, this wasn't just a jerk thing to do. It said it violated international law. It says, under international law, a country at war could stop and search a neutral ship suspected of carrying war goods. However, German submarines weren't able to do that, and so they would just surface and shoot a torpedo at the neutral ships and kill scores of civilians. So, yeah, that's fun times. Um, Germany warned the United States and anyone else that wasn't getting involved, hey, stay out of this. Leave Great Britain alone. If you enter through our blockade to Great Britain, we will attack and sink your boat. And President Wilson said, you're responsible if you sink my boats and you cause my American people to die and you cause my Americans to lose stuff. However, in 1915, a German submarine torpedoed the Lusitania, a British passenger ship off the coast of Ireland, killing 128 Americans. This wasn't a ship carrying war supplies. This was a cruise ship. And it was sunk by a German U-boat. And President Wilson was ticked. He's like, Germany, how dare you? And Germany, this was really close for America now entering the war. Was just like, all right, you've got to stop doing this. Great Britain kept doing this, and that's what caused the War of 1812. So we don't want to do this. Stop attacking our ships. And so finally, Germany signed the Sussex Pledge to say, like, we'll give surface and give warning. We won't just straight up attack ships anymore, America. Clearly, that doesn't last because America enters the war in the very next section, which I will talk about, I guess, in the next video because I only have 4 minutes left. I hope you found this interesting and fascinating. War is interesting, I guess. And okay,